Have you ever felt like you're just not the right person for the job? Like you're underqualified, scared, or just plain not good enough? If so, you're in some pretty incredible company. A man who led millions, received the 10 Commandments directly from God, and changed the course of a nation forever. But what if I told you he almost said no? We're talking about Moses, the reluctant deliverer. And the question that kicks off our journey is this: why did Moses, the man chosen by God, almost miss his calling? We find Moses in a pretty comfortable situation, all things considered. He had fled Egypt after killing an Egyptian taskmaster, and now he's a shepherd in Midian. He has a wife, a family, and a steady, predictable life. It's quiet. It's safe. He's about 80 years old now, far from the prince of Egypt he once was. Then, one day, something extraordinary happens. He sees a bush on fire, but it's not burning up. God calls to him from the burning bush, "Moses. Moses!" And Moses, probably a bit shaken, replies, "Here I am." God lays out the plan. He's seen the suffering of his people, the Israelites, enslaved in Egypt. He's heard their cries. And he has chosen Moses to be the one to go to Pharaoh and lead them out of bondage into a promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey. This is the moment, right? The epic call to adventure. But Moses' reaction is, well, it's probably how many of us would react. It's not a fist pump and a "let's do this." Instead, his response is pure insecurity. He asks, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt?" This is the first of 5 excuses Moses makes. Who am I? It's a classic case of imposter syndrome. He's a fugitive, a shepherd, a man with a past. In his own eyes, he's a nobody. He looks at the size of the task confronting the most powerful ruler on earth, and then he looks at himself and sees a massive gap. But God's answer is profound. He doesn't list Moses' qualifications. He doesn't say, "Well, you were raised in the palace, you know their ways." Instead, God says something much more powerful, "But I will be with you." God's response shifts the focus from Moses' ability to God's presence. The success of the mission doesn't depend on who Moses is, but on who is with him. It's a game changer. But Moses isn't convinced yet. He comes back with another excuse, a more theological one. Okay, let's say I go. When they ask me, what is his name? What am I supposed to tell them? He's worried about his credibility. He needs a name, an authority to back him up. This is where we get one of the most powerful revelations in the entire Bible. God says to Moses, "I am who I am." Tell them, "I am has sent me to you." This isn't just a name. It's a statement of eternal, self-sufficient, all-powerful existence. God is the ultimate reality. Again, God is redirecting Moses' focus from his own weakness to God's infinite strength and authority. But Moses' anxiety is still running high. Excuse number 3. "But behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice. For they will say, 'The Lord did not appear to you.'" Now he's doubting his ability to be persuasive. He's picturing the skeptical faces of the elders, the rejection. So God gives him signs. He tells Moses to throw his staff on the ground, and it becomes a snake. Then he tells him to pick it up by the tail, and it becomes a staff again. He tells him to put his hand inside his cloak, and it comes out leprous. Then he puts it back, and it's healed. God is giving Moses tangible proof, miraculous tools to overcome the people's doubt. Still, Moses hesitates. This next excuse is perhaps the most famous and relatable one. "Oh my Lord, I am not eloquent. I am slow of speech and of tongue." Here, Moses points to a very specific personal weakness. He's saying, "I'm not a good public speaker. I get tongue-tied. You've picked the wrong guy for a spokesman." Many scholars believe Moses may have had a stutter or some other speech impediment. He's essentially saying, "God, you've made a mistake. My natural abilities don't line up with this job description." This is where you can feel the frustration in God's response. He asks, "Who has made man's mouth? Who makes him mute, or deaf, or seeing, or blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall speak." God doesn't deny Moses' weakness. He promises to work through it and provide the words. After all this, the promise of his presence, the revelation of his name, the power of miraculous signs, and the promise to help him speak, Moses makes one last desperate plea. "Oh my Lord, please send someone else." This is the bottom line. It's not about his abilities anymore. It's just raw reluctance. He simply doesn't want to go. He's comfortable in his quiet life and terrified of the alternative. And the Bible says God's anger was kindled against Moses. But even in his frustration, God is gracious. He provides a solution. He says, "What about your brother, Aaron? I know he can speak well, he will be your spokesman." So God provides a partner. He meets Moses in his weakness and gives him a helper, his own brother, to walk alongside him. So, what can we take away from this incredible negotiation between God and a man full of doubt? First, it's a powerful lesson in leadership. Moses didn't start as a charismatic, confident leader. He started as a reluctant shepherd riddled with insecurity. His journey shows that leadership isn't about having all the answers or being the most talented person in the room. True leadership, especially in a spiritual context, is about radical dependence on God. It's about recognizing your limitations and allowing God's power to work through them. Over the next 40 years, Moses would grow into one of history's greatest leaders, but his foundation was always his reliance on the God who called him. Second, this story completely redefines our understanding of the law. The 10 Commandments and the rest of the laws given through Moses weren't just a cold set of rules. They were given within the context of an intimate, conversational relationship. Think about it. The God who thundered from Mount Sinai is the same God who patiently reasoned with a stuttering shepherd at a burning bush. The law came from a place of relationship, a covenant between God and his people, mediated by a man who knew God face to face, as a man speaks to a friend. The law wasn't meant to be a burden, but a guide to living in right relationship with this personal, powerful God. And finally, the most personal takeaway for all of us is about our own calling. Moses' story is a profound reminder that God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. Your feelings of inadequacy, your fears, your slow tongue, none of it disqualifies you in God's eyes. In fact, our weaknesses can become the very stage upon which God's strength is most clearly displayed. When we, like Moses, say, "Who am I?" God responds, "I will be with you." When we point out our flaws, God points to his power. Moses' reluctance didn't stop God's plan. He met him in his fear, answered his every objection, and even provided a partner for the journey. He didn't give up on Moses, and he won't give up on you. So the next time you feel that voice of doubt telling you you're not enough, remember Moses. Remember the shepherd who argued with God and then went on to part the Red Sea. His story isn't about a superhero. It's about an ordinary, insecure person who said a reluctant yes to an extraordinary God. And that's a story of hope for all of us. Thanks so much for watching. Moses was called, but insecure. Chosen, but hesitant. Commissioned, yet afraid. And still, God used him. The law was given through him. A nation was led by him, and he spoke with God face to face. Your weakness is not the obstacle. Your obedience is the key. Subscribe to the Tanakh for more deep biblical truth. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that dives deep into these timeless narratives. Drop a comment below. Which one of Moses' excuses do you relate to the most? I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay curious.